33 minutes after the hour now, overnight, Secretary of State Marco Rubio landing in Israel for high-stakes talks as tensions continue to rise in the region after Israel's strike against Hamas terror leaders in Qatar. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hinting the job in Qatar isn't done, posting, quote, "The Hamas terrorist chiefs living in Qatar don't care about the people in Gaza. They blocked all ceasefire attempts in order to endlessly drag out the war. Getting rid of them would rid the main obstacle to releasing all our hostages and ending the war." Hudson Institute Senior Fellow Rebeccah Heinrichs joins us now. Great to have you with us as always. I just have to say from the very outset, do you suspect that what happened, that action in Qatar, has negatively impacted the ability to maybe get the hostages released sooner than later?
Hi there. So I actually think that it might be very helpful because Qatar has really been the power broker between Hamas and Israel and the United States. But Qatar has been harboring Hamas leaders. So I think the sooner that Qatar understands that it's not going to be a sanctuary anymore for Hamas and that its sovereignty may be violated again by the Israelis, the sooner we might get to the point where Qatar is actually pressuring Hamas more effectively to release these hostages that Israel is still demanding be released.
It's a challenge for Qatar because, on the one hand, they are cooperating with the United States. They have very strong relationships here in Washington. But on the other hand, they also have to play to a regional audience. Is that a fair assessment?
It is. Remember, the Middle East, it's an understatement of the morning, is extremely complicated. But Hamas really has been safe, has been living really high on the hog in Qatar, and Qatar has been funding Hamas, even if indirectly by funding for humanitarian purposes as the pretext in Gaza. And so at the same time, it gets a lot of financial benefits from the United States. We have our largest military base there that really helps us conduct counterterrorism operations in the Middle East. But again, the key, I think, here is that Qatar has to play ball better and pressure Hamas to release these hostages, or Hamas is going to have to leave, go to Iran, somewhere else, where it's definitely not going to be safe from the Israelis, which have been shown that they're willing to take strikes inside those countries. Yeah, and yet the Qataris are also threatening now some of the financial deals that they have made with the U.S. as long as we are in support of that strike on their sovereign land. Very quickly, about 30 seconds to go. What is the #1 focus for Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, as he continues to unpack this complicated situation? Well, I think very publicly the Secretary of State needs to demonstrate that he still has strong solidarity with Israel, even if publicly has to continue the message that the United States was not behind Israel's strike inside Qatar. And he has to demonstrate to the Qataris that he still wants to have a good relationship with Qatar and that he is talking to the Israelis about not conducting a strike again. But again, Israel's going to do what it needs to in its own interests, regardless of whether or not other countries pressure it. It needs to get these hostages out. It needs to pressure Hamas, get Hamas to play ball in good faith at the negotiating table. The only way that's going to happen is if Hamas knows it's not safe anywhere, including Qatar. Yeah, no small task for the Secretary of State. Rebeccah Heinrichs, thank you so much for your time today. Have a great weekend. Thanks, you too.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.